Hello and welcome. Well, in this season, we've got more inventions for you. This time, the compass. We've also got a story familiar to anyone who has grown up in China. Mencius's mother moves 3 times. We also delve into the world of myth and legend with a story of the anger of the Lord of Heaven, who was about to destroy humankind, but was thwarted in his aims both by his compassionate daughter and human ingenuity. Destruction is also the theme of another of our myths, with a rather tragic ending about 9 dragons who are finally killed by the great sage king Shun. Now, we're telling you these myths with a purpose, mind you. They both help to explain important aspects of Chinese culture. We then move to the 19th century to celebrate the life of Lin Zexu and his dramatic seizure of illegally trafficked opium. Finally, we discuss a modern hero, a man who took customer service to new levels. 大家好，欢迎来到第5集。我们会有关于发明的故事，指南针有耳熟能详的孟母的故事。我们也会带你探寻神话传奇，有关于天帝的愤怒的故事。他差一点毁灭了人类文明，但最终危机被天帝女儿和人民所瓦解。还有一个悲伤的故事，那就是与恶龙战斗的舜的故事。这2个神话故事的目的是为了帮助你们理解中国传统文化的来源。之后我们会把时间移到19世纪，来歌颂林则徐以及他禁毒的故事。最后我们会讲一个现代伟大的人物，一个全心全意为顾客服务的人。天帝女儿的善意这个故事，尽管表面上试图解释元宵节放鞭炮习俗的由来，事实上这更像是人们在传统习俗基础上创作出来的美好的传说。像许多中国节日习俗一样，比如在元宵节点灯笼的起源都已经无法准确考证。不过有一件事情是可以确定，那就是放鞭炮确实可以跟人民抵御超自然力量联系起来。天帝女儿的故事之所以有趣，在于它与其他文化中的神话非常相似。故事中的神灵对人类有怜悯之心，但却触怒了有权威的天帝。这就很像古希腊传说中的 Prometheus 将火种带给人类，却惹怒了主神 Zeus， 并得到了主神 Zeus 的惩罚。那么在这2篇神话当中，我们可以看到人类对抗天国权威的桥段，同时还有一个稍弱的天神愿意去帮助他们。这是可以理解的。现实往往是残酷的，有时候需要面对饥荒、灾难和死亡。自然似乎经常无视人类的性命和苦难，但人民却仍然保持希望，坚信始终有更强大的力量愿意帮助人类。故事中还有一个事实，即最后能够解救人类就是他们自己。天帝女儿只是警告了人类需要面对一个困难，但是最终还是人类通过伪造村子被焚烧的景象，使天帝相信他的命令已经是被执行了，从而解除了村庄的危险。这是很重要的一个方面，说明了一种积极态度，那就是人类的力量和智慧能够最终战胜自然带来的挑战和危机。除此之外，故事也表明了节日象征着人民团结的时刻，所以很多与中国节日有关的神话反映了人们团结协作，最终可 克服困难的故事。好的，现在我们要把这个故事的英文版从头到尾诵读一下。好，我们就开始。The Lantern Festival. The Goodwill of the Daughter of the Lord of Heaven. Every 15th day of the first month of the lunar year, a special festival day is celebrated, the Lantern Festival. On this day, people eat a traditional food, sweet dumplings. They also hang up lanterns and set off fireworks and firecrackers. You are probably curious as to why Chinese people do these things on this day. It all springs from a kindly deed. The story goes that long, long ago, people used to be attacked by a fierce forest monster, and this caused them great losses in their productive activities. Thereupon, they decided to get together and kill these destructive monsters. One day, a hunter came across a large-bodied bird with gorgeous plumage. So he summoned the other people to come and see it. When they did so, they all admitted that they had never seen such a bird before. And to make sure this divine bird didn't harm them, they got together to kill it. However, what the people didn't know was that this divine bird was a favorite pet of the Lord of Heaven, which had lost its way and wandered into the world of humans. When the Lord of Heaven realized that his pet was missing and found out what had happened to it, he flew into a rage and ordered the heavenly warriors to destroy the people's crops, livestock, and houses with fire. Now, the Lord of Heaven had a kind-hearted daughter who, when she heard of her father's incendiary order, was alarmed. She couldn't bear to see innocent people suffer, but couldn't get her father to rescind his order. She said to herself anxiously, "What is the best thing to do?" In order to protect the people, she decided to risk her own life. She quietly descended to the human world and told the people of the Lord of Heaven's order. When they heard this, the people turned pale with fright. "What can we do?" they cried. "If the heavenly warriors and heavenly generals come with fire, there will be no escape for us." Just as the people were in the midst of this dilemma, an old man stepped forward and said to them, "Since the Lord of Heaven wants to punish us with fire, the best thing for us to do is to hang up lanterns and set off fireworks and firecrackers on that day to deceive the Lord of Heaven into thinking that the fires are already burning. When he sees this, he will perhaps let us off the punishment." The others all approved this suggestion, and each went back home to make preparations. On the day appointed for the conflagration, the Lord of Heaven saw the people's houses blazing with light and surrounded by deafening noises. He thought that the heavenly warriors had fulfilled their incendiary task and that the people had been sufficiently punished. So he called off the fire operation. It was fortunate for the people that they avoided being afflicted by fire damage and preserved both their lives and their property. The people were grateful for the goodwill of the daughter of the Lord of Heaven. To commemorate their good fortune, they made the 15th day of the first lunar month every year the day of the Great Burning. On this day, people hang up lanterns and set off fireworks and firecrackers. This is the origin of the folk customs associated with the Lantern Festival. The moral of this story. The Lantern Festival is a traditional festival with its roots in ancient China. There are many traditional folk stories connected with Lantern Festival activities such as lantern viewing parties, lantern riddle guessing, and fireworks display. In these stories are encapsulated the rich imagination and kindly thoughts of the people. The background to the traditional stories connected with Lantern Festival is infused with the splendid character of the ancient Chinese people. Okay, so now we're going to do some recitation practice. As I mentioned in my introduction, one of the important aspects of this story is how human ingenuity overcame the evil plans of the Lord of Heaven. We want to convey the sense of someone excitedly coming up with a plan. So let's listen to that passage. 现在我们来做一些朗诵练习。 在介绍中，我们提到过这个故事的一个重要方面，就是人类的聪明才智战胜了天地的邪恶计划。我们想要传达某人兴奋地想出一个计划的那种感觉，所以我们来听一听以下这一段。Just as the people were in the midst of this dilemma, an old man stepped forward and said to them, Since the Lord of heaven wants to punish us with fire, the best thing for us to do is to hang up lanterns and set off fireworks and firecrackers on that day to deceive the Lord of heaven into thinking that the fires are already burning. When he sees this, he will perhaps let us off the punishment. The others all approved this suggestion, and each went back home to make preparations. So let's listen in detail to his first remark. He's trying to explain and persuade, but we should also have a sense of urgency in our tone of voice. 让我们仔细听一下第一句话，他正试图详细解释计划，但是我们应该在我们语气中有一种紧迫感。我们来听一听。Since the Lord of heaven wants to punish us with fire, the best thing for us to do is to hang up lanterns and set off fireworks and firecrackers on that day to deceive the Lord of heaven into thinking that the fires are already burning. Then, as he talks about what the result of his plan will be, we should have a tone of pure excitement. 然后，当他谈论他计划的结果的时候，我们应该有一种积极兴奋的语气。让我们来听一听。When he sees this, he will perhaps let us off the punishment. Okay, let's listen to the whole passage again from beginning to end. 好的，接下来我们再来听一听整个段落。Just as the people were in the midst of this dilemma, an old man stepped forward and said to them, Since the Lord of heaven wants to punish us with fire, the best thing for us to do is to hang up lanterns and set off fireworks and firecrackers on that day to deceive the Lord of heaven into thinking that the fires are already burning. When he sees this, he will, perhaps, let us off the punishment. The others all approved this suggestion, and each went back home to make preparations. 好的，那么今天的课就到此为止，欢迎你们下次来收看。